Hey everyone, excited to be back for this week's edition of Frequently Asked Questions for Commercial Real Estate. In today's video, what I want to do is talk about some of the top lessons that I've learned in 2022. I actually started in the brokerage business back in July of 2019, so I'm actually completing just over 3 years in the business at this point in time. Obviously, you learn lessons every single day in the business, but I wanted to condense this into the top 3 lessons that I've learned in 2022 that you can hopefully go back and apply within your business. Now, before we dive into this video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and ensures more and more people can hear this message and learn about the many facets of commercial real estate. So now you've done that, go ahead and like and subscribe below and click the notification bell to be notified of future videos. Now that you've done that, let's go ahead and dive right into this episode. All right, so in today's video, we're going to go through the top lessons that I've learned in 2022. As I said before, you're learning something new every day, but these are the top 3 things that I learned in 2022 that you can hopefully now go apply in your business and avoid maybe some of the heartache that I went through as a result of these experiences. So first, one of the top lessons that I learned this year is to carefully read the lease agreement when you receive the final version from whatever party, from in this case would be the landlord. So just to set the backdrop, I was representing a tenant this year for warehouse space, roughly 7,500 square feet. And we had submitted an LOI with our proposed terms. We went back and forth, and then both parties came to an agreement on the LOI. And ultimately, we started moving forward towards drafting a lease agreement. When we received the lease agreement, I was reviewing the lease primarily for the items that were most important to my client. So that included, the term length, the amount of money they were paying on a monthly basis, any references to responsibilities of the major mechanicals, who's the increases over time for taxes, insurance, and CAM, etc. So I was looking and focusing on those items within the lease agreement to ensure that they were actually covered as they were listed in the LOI. I wasn't as diligent or careful about the references to who was paying the commission in the agreement. And so come to find out, about a month after the lease was executed, I had not been paid as of yet. And ultimately, within the lease agreement, it showcased that my client was going to be actually responsible for paying the commission as opposed to the landlord. And typically what happens is a landlord would have a listing agreement with the agent involved, the listing agent, and typically the commission would be shared between the leasing agent and the listing agent. In the case of this particular transaction, it looked as though within the lease agreement that the listing agent would have taken the entire commission and my client would be responsible for paying me my commission. Understandably, I was upset about it. I reviewed the LOI and it referenced that the listing agent would share in the commission. And so I went through the process of trying to, get back what I believe to be an unjust situation. Luckily, we were able to work it out. I think there was just miscommunication regarding that topic. But had I been more diligent, that could have been hashed out even before the lease was fully executed. I could have referenced the LOI that was signed by all parties, and this could have been hashed out instead of having the heartache of going through this process and having feelings hurt regarding what the expectations were. So one of my pieces of advice to you is to make sure that you carefully read the lease agreement. Obviously, if you're not a licensed attorney, you cannot advise your client on anything related to what's in the lease agreement, but it's important to make sure that not only are the items that are pertinent to your client involved in the final lease agreement, but also make sure that you're in agreement or have an understanding of how the commissions will be paid within the final lease agreement, because if not, it's going to be a lot more difficult at the end of the day to get paid for your efforts if in fact something like that were to occur. So first piece of advice is to carefully read the lease agreement and make sure that everyone is on the same page. That's number 1. Number 2 is to set expectations early with your clients. I am someone who really likes to help people, especially those who are trying to manifest a dream of theirs. So the idea of working with startups to help them achieve the American dream is something that's very attractive to me. Over the last few years, I've had to become a little bit more careful with who I allocate time to, because a lot of times what ends up happening is that people have an idea of what they want, but they're not willing to do what it takes to make it manifest itself. And so a lot of times you end up spinning your wheels and not getting them to where they want to be. And ultimately you get frustrated and they get frustrated, and no one benefits from the interaction. And so now what I've tried to do over the last year is to set expectations early. And if I feel like the steps are not being taken from my client regarding, if they're a startup, a business plan, personal financial statement, any type of tax returns they could provide to showcase their ability to pay the rent, I typically don't continue working with them. And that sometimes is hard to say or have a conversation about, but it'll save you a lot of time. It'll save them heartache as well from having to expend a lot of energy from both parties and then not ultimately getting to the finish line. And so setting expectations early on in the process, getting a checklist of things that you need from them before you start moving forward is going to be very beneficial for you and your business. And again, it benefits both parties. It's not just for you, it's also for them, so that they don't feel like they're not getting what they want because they, haven't put in the work that needs to be done in order to make that happen. So that's number 2, is to set expectations early and continually reinforce those expectations throughout the process of searching for property. So that's number 2. And then finally, number 3 is to trust the process. This year has been very chaotic, to say the least. We've had, I believe, 7 or 8 rate hikes this year. And so, the buying environment and selling environment is very much in flux. So you may feel like you're just not making the progress that you believe you should be making as a result of what's going on in the marketplace. You got to understand that real estate is a cyclical business. So there'll be times where things are phenomenal, and then there's going to be times where things are in a lull period. However, if you do the things you need to do on a daily basis to continue to fill that pipeline and move your business forward, ultimately things will work out over time. And so I think what needs to be said is you don't get discouraged by the fact that right now maybe not the most active period for you. You need to make sure that you prioritize getting out there, generating business, and when we come out of this, which we will eventually come out of, you'll be near an inflection point in your business, and you'll be able to benefit immensely from it. But trust the process, do what you need to do on a day-to-day basis to be successful, and you will be successful long-term. So hopefully you gained some value from this video. These are the top 3 lessons that I learned in 2023. Hopefully they're actionable so you can go out and apply it within your business. If you like this channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It really makes a difference in the algorithm and ensures more and more people can hear this message. Along with that, I would highly encourage you guys to reach out to me if you're looking for real estate, in particular commercial real estate in the Louisville metro area or surrounding areas. I'm a commercial real estate agent in town. I'd be happy to help you do that. So feel free to reach out to me. My number is 502-536-7315, or you can reach me via email at Raphael@CREGroup.com. Thanks again so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.